and welcome to Media Morals. Today we'll be talking about a Pixar film called WALL-E, which you may or may not have heard of.
700 years into the future, mankind will leave our planet, leaving Earth's cleanup in the hands of one incredible machine. His name is WALL-E.
If you are not familiar with this film, it is about a robot growing up in a lifeless Earth. Growing up, it's a robot. But anyway, he falls in love with another robot who's there to find a plant, and then he eventually goes up into space to find her, and spoiler alert, in the end, they help restore life and bring people back to Earth, and they tend to gardens and grow the planet back to how it was before. Some people may think WALL-E is just a depiction of a dystopian universe. The director of the movie himself has even been quoted saying that he does not have a political or ecological message to push. However, that does not change the fact that the world of WALL-E very clearly mirrors our own and the path that it's going down. And that these issues need to be addressed. The majority of our negative impact on the world has come from our search for endless amounts of energy.
10 seconds to self-destruct. You are now free to move around the cabin.
We dig deep into the earth to find coal, natural gas, and oil that can power our cars, our lights, and ways to cook our food and all sorts of things. And as a result, the air we breathe is contaminated by all sorts of chemicals and draw in extra heat from the sun. Basically, this makes it feel like we're wrapped in a blanket, even in the middle of summer, which is terrible, and it's the middle of summer right now, so I'm not actually going to wrap myself in a blanket. It's hot. You don't want to be all bundled up when it's hot. And that's what's happening to our Earth. And because of this unpredictability and the small shell that we've put around our planet, the weather itself is a lot more unpredictable. So while you may be there in the middle of winter thinking global warming doesn't affect you, it just means that everything is a lot more heightened and a lot more severe than it would usually be. However, WALL-E doesn't focus too much on global warming itself and as an idea. However, they do focus on wildlife and habitat loss. And this is basically the idea that cities and urban places spread and spread and spread and spread. While they do that, the space left for our plants and animals to grow and to live gets smaller, smaller, and smaller. And as our populations grow and grow and we consume more meat, more hamburgers, more chicken noodle soup, pork cutlets, all sorts of fun meat products, hot dogs. Our grasses will be overgrazed, and then the plants will die. And the soil will be left pretty much non-existent and filled with no nutrients. And finally, as weather conditions become more unpredictable, so we got tornadoes and hurricanes and fires, oh, lots of fires, the habitats will no longer be able to endure. And that basically means, like the Amazon rainforest, they had all those fires there, the habitat won't be able to sustain any more life. And as all this happens, you can see our planet will start to become more like that little garbage, trash, dirt world that WALL-E lives on.
After all these years, he's developed one little glitch. A personality. He's extremely curious.
I really don't want to live in that little shack that he lives in. It isn't that cute. So, what can we do about this? In fact, WALL-E gives us a good piece of advice. Go back to depending on the land. Everyone just needs to become farmers. So if you have a garden, you're doing the right thing. Honestly, it's a little dramatic to think that we all have to farm and we all have to be gardening like all the people in the movie, but it's an idea that things have to stop being as industrialized and factory-based and just on a wide scale and be a smaller scale and just with like your family or whatever. As the movie comes to a close, you can see a scene of people starting to tend to nature again and learning about plants and how to treat them, how to grow plants, instead of how to just work their machines and use their little screens on their computers, on their little chairs. Honestly though, those chairs look comfy, but like that's not the point of the movie. I'm really going to turn from the path and the message and everything, but those chairs look comfy. Okay, back to the point. The people in the film at the end tend to plants and grow vegetable gardens, all sorts of grasses, and slowly you can see that the planet will grow again if only we turn away from our dependence on electricity and energy in order to help it. So basically, we don't need the robots. We don't need Wall-E or Eve in our lives, although their relationship is really goals. What an iconic duo. You got Wall-E, doesn't really know much about anything but super cool, and then Eve, who's like, I feel like Eve would wear sunglasses if they were indoors, if they were a person. Be like Charlie's Angels, like, anyway. Now is the time I go to the outdoors to film the outro because nature is great! You guys, I'm indoors, but I should be outdoors. So what do you plan to do? Help the planet? Or lose it? It's up to you. Bye, Internet. See you on Media Morals next week.